maybe our AD even. So here I got today's homeroom interview is Mike Collins. He happens to be my brother. He's the head baseball coach at Bloomsburg, where I think it's about your 15th year, if I had to guess.
15, yeah.
15. They're the. I want to give you a proper introduction. You know what I mean? They're the defending PSAC East, or the defending PSAC champions for baseball. They won it in 2018. And Mike was 3-time coach of the year for his league. And most importantly, we both played baseball together at St. Joe's, but he was smart enough to get a job where he pretty much wears sweatpants his whole life. Good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like COVID all the time for you. You don't have to put on real pants.
If I wear pants, kids are asking what's going on that day.
Mm-hmm. So good for you. How about, well, it's kind of tough with COVID, but by the way, you have all seniors in front of you. I'm sure a couple of them maybe are thinking about going from high school to college. Can you at least talk about how that typically works, either in baseball or in general, or what you know about it?
Okay. Not every sport is exactly the same. I could talk about baseball. I'm sure there's similarities in different sports. This year is going to be completely different because of COVID. A lot of the players playing college baseball, actually everybody playing college baseball currently, was given a 5th year of eligibility because we lost last spring. So I had 7 seniors from last year's team that decided to return for a 5th year to play their senior year. So that sort of log jammed up my roster, okay? The other element of that is the other classes. So the guys that are current seniors, 4th year players, those guys are contemplating coming back for a 5th year. So unfortunately, the pandemic has kind of thrown a monkey wrench into our roster situation. So long story short, like it's going to be a lot harder in the coming years to secure a spot on a roster. So for the 2021 class, which would be the senior class now, I could afford to be very, very choosy in terms of who I recruit because I know I'm returning a good number of players. Now, the spring sports all received another year of eligibility in college. So everybody's in a similar boat in terms of having very large rosters moving forward. The fall and winter sports have not. However, that could change based on what happens this spring. So if college seasons start getting taken away, then those kids might be getting an additional year, and that things will be difficult. I look at my roster; it's almost like an airplane. Like if you get on a commercial jetliner, everybody comes about their seat a different way. There's not one way to find yourself onto a roster. But as far as my personal recruiting is I know there's a region or an area that we're going to recruit in. I don't recruit nationally. Very few colleges are out recruiting nationally. If you look at college rosters, particularly in my sport, most of the players are going to come from the region that the college is from. So for me, it's Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, a little bit of Maryland, Delaware, and we'll get maybe 1 or 2 kids from Western PA. But a large number of my players are from the Lehigh Valley, Southeast PA, and Northeast PA. And then probably, 5 or 6 guys from New Jersey. So that's where we really kind of focus our efforts. And I do that through getting on the phone and calling high school coaches that I have a lot of respect for and I have a long time relationship with. Different travel team, club teams that are from our area or from our region that we can see play, that are play regionally. From there, we're going to evaluate those guys based on the skill set that they have and relative to our current players. So we're trying to enhance the athleticism of the players that we have on our roster. So we're looking by position, and it's like a giant game of comparison. So I know what my center fielder can run. I know what kind of power he has at the plate. I know what kind of athlete he is. So if we're looking at outfielders or center fielders in high school, we're trying to figure out, well, how will this guy run relative to the center fielder we're graduating? Or pitchers on, pitching wise, we know, velocity, movement, command, all those types of things, the quality of their secondary pitches, as far as the effectiveness of our current college pitchers. And now we're looking at high school pitchers that meet that profile as far as velocity, vertical and horizontal movement, quality of their secondary pitches and stuff like that, to know that guy could have success. So we want to recruit high school players that show that they have the skill set and the athleticism to have success. Sometimes the best recruit is the one we don't get. So basically I don't want to recruit somebody that doesn't have the ability to have success, because then it's a miserable experience for them. We don't want to put somebody in a position where they're in over their head. I want all the guys in the program to have a great experience, and part of having a great experience is to go out and have some success playing the game. So we have to look at basically the skill set and the profile of the player, make sure it matches our level. So
okay. When people ask me about college baseball, and it's really the only sport I know, I tell them that there's a lot of differences, but in high school, there's this mentality like, oh, well, I'm not playing varsity as a freshman. I'm not playing as a sophomore. Maybe I get in as little as a junior. And by senior year, I'm going to play varsity. And college, that's really just not the case. It's not like a wait your turn. Like, and what you just said, if someone's coming in right now, there's a whole bunch of fifth-year seniors they got to compete with. And like typically you're starting sophomores and freshmen if they're good enough, right? There's no
absolutely.
Like, hey, you have to.
It's completely performance based. So if you're a senior, it doesn't matter necessarily if you're a senior. Okay. In college, there's no JV team, generally speaking. There are some smaller private schools that have large rosters that will run like a JV team or a reserve team or something of that nature, but that's kind of rare. You don't see that very much. So basically, imagine your high school, if there's no JV team, no like freshman team, just one varsity team. That's it. Okay, so it just ramps up the competitiveness of those spots and those opportunities. So that's what you have. But also you got to consider there's other things here. For instance, your high school coach really wants to win, wants to see you get better, wants to see you develop and this and that. However, it's not his or her full-time job. Like they're disappointed when the team's not winning or they have a losing season or something. They're disappointed in that, but it's not how they're paying their mortgage or anything. So it's not that big of a deal. In college, your performance, there's a lot more riding on it for everybody around you. So it's a different scenario. I'm not going to start somebody because they're a senior when I could start somebody better who's a sophomore, because this is how I pay the bills. This is my full-time job. All right. So the performance part of it is a big deal. Okay. So when we start evaluating our guys in the fall, I mean, we're a spring sport, but we work out in the fall. We're looking for the best guys that we can put on the field to help us win, period. It doesn't matter if they're a fifth-year senior or an 18-year-old freshman. It doesn't matter. And the seniors know that. They get that. The other thing about it is we recruit. So it's not like you're in the program and you're there. We're consistently recruiting. So if you are a college coach and you're going out recruiting, you're looking for weaker spots that you need to address. So if you might have a couple middle infielders, maybe you're not performing well there, you're going to go out and recruit middle infielders. And then those guys that are middle infielders that are juniors and seniors, their jobs are now in jeopardy. Okay. So roster spots aren't necessarily guaranteed for 4 years if it's extremely performance based. Okay. So if you're not performing well, then your spot could be addressed through recruiting. Okay. So it's important that you work really hard and that you're super productive and you understand going in that, you kind of have to fight for your opportunities. Okay. A lot of the high school kids that I deal with, they want to go to a program that wins. Okay. So right now we're doing well. We're winning 35 games a year, and we won the league last year, but we're in the regionals. Last 2 years we've been in the NCAA regional, so kids want to come. But then on the visit, they'll always ask, well, can I start? Will I start? What are my playing time opportunities? And I'll say, yeah, you can start, but you have to earn it. And if you want a guaranteed spot as far as playing time, you got to go to a place that's losing 35 games a year, not a spot that's winning 35 games a year. All right. So you have to kind of go into it with the mindset that you're going to compete for a spot. You're going to compete for playing time. You're going to earn the playing time. A thing that happens a lot more, I think, in college, I know it's bigger in baseball, is we inter squad a lot. So those inter squads that's your opportunity to earn playing time. Sometimes we'll have a player that will come in the office and say, Coach, I just need a chance. Give me a chance to play. And I tell them that your chances happen in practice. I'm not going to give you a chance in a game. That's not the games are not your opportunity to earn anything. You earn it in practice. You earn it in inter squad. And if you perform well in practice and you're kicking butt in inter squad and you're swinging the bat really well, or you're on the mound, you're racking up the swings and misses and you're super effective, then through that performance in practice, you earn an opportunity in the game. And that might be a little different. In high school, you say, coach just needs to give me a chance to put me in the game. And I tell them right from the get-go, guys, I'm not giving you any chances in the game. You get your chance to practice, you earn it there, and then you get a shot to get in the lineup. So
sounds good. By the way, I did my research. 66 and 36 the last 2 seasons. So you guys are definitely on the upswing. And I was at your last game. These guys, they played 10 games last year. They're 9-1. And I happened to be in Delaware when I think you guys played on a Sunday, and then the following Thursday the world ended. So that was it was a shame. That was the best start you've ever had as a coach, 9-1, coming off a championship year. So that was the worst time for this to happen to you. All right, I'm going to have one more question, and thanks for being so gracious with your time this morning.
No problem.
Nice and early. Well, you have a dog, so you're up at this hour anyway.
Yeah.
So you have to be up. I know it's COVID, but let's pretend it's not. Can you take me through a typical day and I guess it's different whether you're in season or in the fall, but just real quick, what a typical day looks like if you're a player, at least in your program?
All right. I'll take you through the fall. In the fall, we have a 45 consecutive day window where we could work out. That's non-traditional season. Okay. So we have to give them off 2 days a week from athletic activity. So 5 days a week of baseball and weight training. So we'll go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We will lift from 1:30 to about 2:45, full body, super intense lift. And lifting is mandatory. It's not optional. It's like practice. If you don't perform well in the weight room, you're gone. Okay. You have to, the weight room is super intense and it's incredibly important. You're not late. You're there. It's just as important as practice. So you're in the weight room 3 days a week, full body lift. After weight training, then we go to the field for practice. So they'll get up there at 3:15. We start at 3:30 and we'll go to 4:45. The other thing, I'm going to throw this out there. A lot of kids in their minds have this notion that practice is 2 hours. Like it's never written anywhere that practice is 2 hours. Maybe when you're a kid, you practice 2 hours. In college, the limit is 4 hours. So our practice is usually about 2.5, sometimes 3. But anyway, so we're at the field at 3:30. We practice. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's what we're doing. Lifting practice. Tuesday, Thursday, we have study hall, and we'll usually do some type of enrichment thing. Like I might have speakers for them and things like that, much like you guys are doing in homeroom. Then Saturday, Sunday, we inter squad. And we make this inter squad super competitive. That's their opportunity to earn their playing time, to show what they got, so on and so forth. Also in the fall, we might have to trim the roster. So that's their time to kind of earn a roster spot if they're a little bit on the borderline. That takes us through the end of the fall. Then we get into the off season. The off season, we're in our 8-hour weeks. They work out for 8 hours a week, 6 hours strength and conditioning, So they lift 3 days a week, and then we do 2 days a week of speed work, and then we do 2 hours a week of small group skill instruction. So it's just a couple of, 3 days a week for 40 minutes in small groups. I do hitting or pitching or what have you. That takes us up until the holiday break. Over the holiday break, we give them a workout where they're doing their workout, running, lifting, throwing, so on and so forth. Then they come back in shape, ready to go. Then we're in season in the second semester. Then it's 6 days a week of practice and or games, and they have mandatory lifting 2 days a week. So their classes are in the morning, usually starting at 8. They're done. I like to get them done by 1 o'clock, and then lifting, practice, and or games, and so on and so forth. So in season, we play a doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday. Sunday is a rain date, and then usually a doubleheader on Tuesday. So it's a very busy schedule.
It sounds like a lot, but it's fun. If you're into, I never thought of it in college, but I remember we played 56 games in about 7 or 8 weeks. So you're playing 6 to 7 games a week with doubleheaders. You can make that up. So it's a busy season. Mike, I thank you for getting up this morning, helping us out.
All right. Have fun, guys. Have a good Tuesday.
I hope late February you guys have games down in the Carolinas or Virginia when you guys start it up.
Oh, man, I hope so too.